Looks like more frustration on the transfer front for Rangers as two deals reportedly collapse. We'll talk about those shortly. Welcome, of course, to Owen James, Glasgow Rangers Nation. I am Owen James, your host. Please obviously smash that sub, help the channel to keep on growing. Well, yes, news out today that deals for two of Rangers' summer targets have collapsed over different reasons. I don't know what to think of them, mate. We'll talk about it in a minute. So anyway, here is the news. Deals for Youssef Kabaday and Kenny McLean are apparently dead, according to a number of very reliable sources, including Rangers Review. Let's start with the Kenny McLean deal. And obviously, Kenny McLean, experienced 32-year-old Scottish international, a player who Rangers were reportedly looking at bringing in from Championship Norwich City, a guy who has vast experience playing Championship football, has also played out in Scotland as well. Rangers fan as well, by all accounts, so go the rumours. But apparently that deal has come to an end because of McLean's wage and contract length demands. Apparently the wage demands that he had and the length of contract that he wanted were not what Rangers were prepared to offer him. There was no room for negotiation apparently on this, so the deal is over. Look, I know some fans will be disappointed with this. Some fans will be happy with this. I think there's going to be very much a mixed feeling about the Kenny McLean deal. He's 32 years old. It's hard to imagine what length contract he would have wanted. Perhaps Rangers were only offering him a 1, maybe 2-year deal. Perhaps he wanted a 3-4 year deal. Look, I mean, realistically, the problem is when they get to 32, you've got a situation where you are taking a huge risk with a player because of the fact that, look, once you get over 30, your career does start to downturn a little bit. It's very rare that you get players at 32, 33, 34, 35 going from strength to strength and becoming better footballers. It does happen. There are the odd exceptions to the rule, but overall, they don't tend to improve massively. So, look, I don't know what the terms were. Obviously, they have not been released, and I don't think will ever be released unless, I suppose, Kenny McLean writes an autobiography at some point and he releases them in that autobiography. But that deal is over. It is done and dusted. Personally, I've got to say, I think it's a good thing for the club. I don't think McLean would have been a good signing. I think, he's too old. I think he's another journeyman professional from the Championship. Again, not the market we should be looking in. And as I said on the video this morning and on the pod this morning, you don't need to be over 30 to be experienced. You can have players who are under 30 who are experienced players. That's just, a fact. And I think this common misconception is unless they're, 28 to 30, unless they're older players, they're not experienced, which I think is an absolute load of rubbish. You can have players who are 23, 24 who've got massive amount of experience at playing at numerous different levels. I mean, look at Abdallah Sima, has made nearly 150 appearances, but played in League One, played in the Premiership, played in the Czech League, played in the Championship, played in the SPL, played in the EPL. Obviously, has vast international experience. You don't need to have necessarily had a lot of have an old age, and you can have some holiday players who've hardly played any games. But Seamer's only 23. So look, I do think that this wouldn't have been a great move. I can't see how he would have fitted into the system as well. If Clement is convinced at staying at 4-2-3-1, you're probably looking at Diamande being in one of those pivot two in front of the back four, who plays alongside him, where you've got Dujon Sterling, you've got Connor Barron, for example, another one. You've got young players like Bailey Rice to come through into the squad. Tom Lawrence, if he's still here, can play there. Kieran Dowell, if he's still here, can play there. Was Kenny McLean a major upgrade on any of those players? I personally don't think he was. So, look, I've got no issues with this one. I am, slightly surprised that, if Kenny McLean is as staunch a Rangers man as it's been claimed, that he's obviously turned down the chance to play for the club over contract length and salary, perhaps not back, I don't know, perhaps, back yourself, if Rangers are only offering you a 2-year deal, you want a 3-year deal or a 4-year deal. And, the money, I suppose the money is always an issue, but look, back yourself, come in, take the 2-year deal, come in, back yourself, show how good you are, make yourself indispensable. I think that's kind of the thing, but obviously he's chosen not to do this, and the deal is done and dusted and over. Okay, the other deal is the deal for the German winger, or German-Turkish winger, he is German still, Youssef Kabaday. Now, according to a number of reports a few weeks ago, this was a very close deal, and that Rangers and Bayern had agreed a transfer fee of around £1.5 million, and he would be announced pretty much around the same time or just after the signing of Hamza Igman. So according now to German media and multiple German media sources, the deal between Rangers and Bayern Munich is dead. It is over. The reason for this is that Youssef Kabaday will join FC Augsburg of the Bundesliga for £900,000 on a 4-year contract. Clearly, he wants to stay in Germany. Obviously, that's his decision. He wants to play in the Bundesliga. Fair enough. The transfer fee a lot less than allegedly was agreed between Rangers and Bayern. 900,000, I think, is a good deal. Augsburg are getting a good player for £900,000. Very disappointing. I think he would have been a good acquisition to the squad. I think some Rangers fans were against this, again, seeing him as yet another young player. You know, the fact we do need experience. And I think Clement has addressed that with when he said about the fact that Igman will be the final piece in that young jigsaw. And after this, we will be going for experience signings, which need to get done sooner rather than later. That's my words, not Clement's. You know, I think Kabaday would have been a good player. I think he's a good project player. Again, someone I think in a couple of years would have worth a lot more money. He's big, fast, quick. But look, if he doesn't want to come, if he'd rather go to Augsburg, fair enough, let him go. We don't want players at the club who don't want to be here. We don't want players who have been forced to play for the club or who we are the second choice to at the end of the day. We want players who want to be at Rangers. So if Kabaday doesn't want to be here, fair enough. Let him go to Augsburg. That is the deal that has died. I mean, look, partially, I think, you know, it is worrying news that there seems an inability at the moment to get these deals over the line. I mean, allegedly, Albion Rahmani is on the verge of joining Sparta or Slavia Prague for a lot less money than Rangers were willing to pay for him. Again, a deal that seems to have collapsed. You know, so no Rahmani, no Kabaday, no McLean. There seems to be a lot of deals going by the wayside and falling apart. You've got to kind of ask, what's the stumbling block? Is it A, the board are not backing the manager and Niels Koppen properly? Are they not giving them the cash in terms of wages and transfer fees to get these deals done? And obviously, we missed out on Cordoba as well at the start of the season because of the fact that we wouldn't pay the money up front. We wanted to pay it on Tik. You know, the board, you know, I think are embarrassing themselves over this a little bit. Look, I don't trust this board. I don't trust John Bennett. I don't trust any of them. I especially don't trust the Park family. You can't do a rebuild like this on the cheap. The board appears to be trying to do it on the cheap. I mean, I might be proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong over the next couple of weeks. But look, this is where it seems to be. And it is worrying these deals are all falling down at the last minute, that we can't get them over the line. You know, I don't want to be coming out on match day one against Hearts with a team of Butland, Tav, Goldson, Suter, Ridvan, Diamande, Barron, Cortez, Cantwell, McCausland, and Dessers up front. I mean, that would just be a team that isn't going to win jack all this season. So, look, I do think we do need to obviously still invest. For me, we need a new right back. We need 2 new centre halves. We do still need a couple of new strikers. I think we need a new attacking midfield player. There's a number of positions we do need to still address. And there's a lot of players we need to clear from this squad still. And time is kind of ticking down. The first pre-season game is the 13th of July against Ajax on our Dutch tour. Then obviously the 24th against Birmingham. The season starts on the 3rd of August. Champions League draws upcoming. They need to sort things out. And I know you're saying, oh, sit there and say, oh, it's a long way away still. Yeah, but you've got to get these players in. You've got to get them into pre-season training. You've got to get them fit. You've got to get them used to playing with new teammates. You've got to get your tactics, your system into their heads. You know, that takes time. It's not a quick fix. Something that does need doing ASAP, in my opinion. Look, guys, let me know what you think of those stories. Let me know what you think of the fact that these 2 deals are now dead. Personally, like I said, look, my only concern is over the fact we seem to not be able to get these deals done. And it could be for a whole host of reasons. You know, 1, the board not backing the manager properly. 2, the players genuinely don't want to come. 3, the offers from the clubs are higher. I don't know what the offers are. You know, look, I'm just kind of trying to think outside the box, think of ideas, and get your opinions and thoughts on this, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, on the way out, 2 things I ask of you. Number 1, please obviously smash that like. It beats that algorithm. And number 2, remember always, we are the people.